Hey you guys, good morning. It's about 6:41 on Tuesday morning and I just wanted to do a quick makeup tutorial video for you. This will be my first one, so hopefully it goes well. To start out, I have already washed and moisturized my face for the morning, and I'm going to go in with my Nivea Men Sensitive Skin Post Shave Balm. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keep rubbing it in until it's kind of tacky on the skin, where it's a little bit hard to rub in. Next, I would normally do my brows. I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, you guys, so I am done with my eyebrows. It took a little while just because it's super early and I'm kind of tired. But next, I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Perfect Finish HD powder. If you apply your powder before your foundation, it really just sets in that primer that you've used previously. So I'm going to try that. I'm just using this translucent powder, so you can't really see that I'm actually applying it onto my skin. I'm hoping that it will give the same effect, or maybe even better than what I was hoping for. Alright, now that's done. So now typically I will go in and start my eyeshadow routine. I just take some Scotch tape. Normally you want to take the tackiness off of the tape just so it doesn't hurt your eyes and the skin around your eyes gets really sensitive. So I normally just stick it to the back of my hand and take it off so it's less tacky. So there's one. So now I'm going to go in with my NYX eyeshadow base, and this is in the tan color. So I'm just going to take my MAC 249 brush. I'm going to just put it on my eyelid, a generous amount. So I'm going to take it and go all the way out where I would normally apply my eyeshadow, and then I'm just going to go in with my finger and kind of blend that out up to my brow bone. I don't want to do like too much of a fall look, so I'll probably just do my go-to light brown with gold in the middle. So maybe some oranges and reds. So I use this Morphe palette. It's one of my favorites. It has all these beautiful colors on here. And I'm also waiting for my Morphe brushes that I've ordered to come in the mail. But until then, I'm just going to use my MAC 217 brush. It's a blending brush. And then I'm just going to use a couple of the brushes that came with some of my Naked eyeshadow kits. So to start off, I'm going to use this color in the top right. I usually use that just as kind of like a base on top of the eyeshadow primer that I've put on. So I'm just going to apply this all over my lid. So I kind of just blend it slightly up onto my brow, and it kind of gives me like that really clean look. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this kind of orangey brown color here, just to go into my crease. I'm going to go up on the tape and kind of blend it back down. So it kind of already gives me a wing, if you can see that, but I'm just going to work that into my crease. And the way that you can fill your crease, you should be able to go into this little eye socket here, and that is the crease of your eye. And the reason why I apply my eyeshadow before my foundation is just because it gives a cleaner look, I feel like, because I have a lot of eyeshadow fallout that typically tends to happen to me when I do my eyeshadow, especially when it's darker colors or different colors than my actual skin tone. So it actually is an easier cleanup for when I'm actually doing all my eyeshadow and everything like that. So again, I'm going to start out on this corner and kind of bring it up like it's eyeliner, and then gradually take it into the crease. I'm going to make sure when I'm done to blend this out, or else I'm just going to have this like super harsh line right here, which would be really annoying. And I'm thinking I'm going to go in with this darker brown down here, and then maybe incorporate this color as well. So this brush that I'm using, or was using, from Naked is actually double-sided. So I actually like to use the small little part of the brush. I don't know if you can see it. Just to be more precise with what I'm applying. So I'm going to do the same thing and kind of bring it up a little bit. And the darker color will definitely give depth to this makeup look. So normally I'll just take this And I'll just make that outer corner a little bit darker. And of course I'm going to blend these two together. This is just so I get a more precise line so that that point on the end is very crisp. But I don't know if you can see it, but on the tape it's catching a lot of that fallout that I would typically have all over the bottom of my face. If you do like to do your eyeshadow after you've applied your foundation and everything, I would suggest, you know, a lot of people bake their concealer and everything. I would leave that bake on, and while your face is baking, I would apply that eyeshadow, just because all the fallout that comes down here will be caught by that powder, and it's really easy to just brush it away. So I'm going to take my MAC, I think it was the 217 brush. It's a blending brush, and I'm going to just blend this out a little bit more, blend that orange into that brown color so that it's not so harsh of a transition line. And it's gonna obviously take down some of the intensity of that brown. So now I'm actually going in, I forgot to mention, with this kind of brown red color, and I'm just using that to make it as like a transition between that brown up here into the crease again. Usually I like to try something different out every morning. I like trying different things just because I think it's cool to experiment with your makeups. I typically like my wings to be fairly dark and match one another. Sorry, he is being so loud. Come on. He's always so loud during my videos. Half the time when I'm doing... I don't know if you can see his ear, but he's like on me because he just does not want to be in my room anymore. Alright, so now I'm going to take this Urban Decay brush. Came with one of my palettes as well. And I'm going to take this top color over here, and I kind of use it as a base before I typically apply like a heavier glitter. I'm going to make sure that I get all that fallout off of there before I do this. I'm just going to bring it up to the edge of my crease. That way I have like a nice line transition color. I'm going to try at least. But this definitely will soften up the lid in my eye before I apply a very shimmery glitter color. So I'm going back in with this little Naked brush here, and I'm just touching back up this corner over here. And I was really hoping that this was going to look more like a summer look, but I think my heart just thinks that it's fall. So now I'm going to go in with my Naked eyeshadow palette, the very first one. I'm going to go in and I'm going to choose one of my favorite glitter colors. It's Half Baked. So I'm going to take this same brush that I used for that lighter plain glittery color, and I'm going to take it and put it in that Half Baked. Another way that you could do it is like take something like, I have rose water, and I could spray the tip of my brush and then put it into the Half Baked, and it'll pick it up that much better. Woo! That much nicer. Oh my god, guys, look at that. I'm just going to bring it up to my crease like that, blend it out toward the side again. Kind of look like doing some goddess type makeup. Man, it's really gold. I don't know if you can see it over camera, but dang, it's gold. I'm going to blend this out once more with that light kind of creamy white color, just to kind of get rid of that really harsh line that I've got. And then for some people, you can either apply your liner with the tape still on, that way it goes with the line, or you can kind of do what I do, and I kind of take my tape off and then kind of freehand it. But for those of you, if this is kind of like a learning experience, I'm just going to leave the tape on for you guys today, just because that'll probably be a little bit more beneficial for you guys. I'm going to use this e.l.f. brush. It doesn't have a number on it, but it's kind of like just a liner brush that kind of points up. And I'm going to go in with my Maybelline New York Eye Studio cream liner. So typically I'm just going to start off with how high I want my wing to be. I'm just gonna drag it onto the lid. So I typically don't bring my eyeliner all the way into my corner just because I feel like that's a little bit overbearing. So I'll typically just bring it to the end of my lash line and it kind of just like dissolves or blends into that natural curve in my eye. And then when you take this off, right now it looks a little funky because it doesn't look like it's a straight crisp line, but when you take it off, it should look very clean, very crisp, all that good stuff, so I can actually show you. I'm really hoping that this turned out the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to pull this off. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it did make a really clean, crisp line. The eyeliner is a little bit too casual for me, if I'm being honest. Typically I like to wing it out more this way. But I'm just going to take my brush again and freehand it so I can make that wing a little bit more long. Yes, that's exactly how I like it. Yes, I love that long wing. The tape will take a lot of complications out of this makeup process for you guys. Oh my gosh, it's that crazy girl. This girl has been all over the internet before. She is a psychopath. Girl, she's insane. So I'm just gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. This one turned out like really, really well. I'm actually like really happy with it. So hopefully this side does the same. I cannot handle her. She bothers me. Gosh, my nose keeps itching. I'm not picking my nose, I swear, but just like on this outer edge, my nose is just like insanely itchy for some reason and I cannot get it to stop. Alright, so it's the moment of truth, guys. Let's see. My wing's like totally different. I'll fix it. Be very cautious when you say that you're gonna fix your eyeliner, just because I've had so many experiences where I'm like, oh, they're not even, I'm gonna fix it, and then it turns into a freaking nightmare. Well, that's as good as it's gonna get for me right now because I don't want to risk messing it up. But if you do have like stuff that comes down here, like eyeliner, when you are said and done, don't stress it, because you can just take like a little brush like this one and some concealer and you can just clean that sucker right up. So I typically don't apply any of my eyeshadow down here or any of my mascara until my foundation is on, just because I think that it's a cleaner application and it looks nicer and I can get my foundation all the way up into the crease. The foundation that I'm using is the L'Oreal Paris True Match Super Blendable Makeup, and I'm using the color Caramel Beige, which is W7, which is in the color Warm. Oh my god, I have to sneeze. Okay, thank god I didn't have mascara on when I did that, right? So this is the color that I typically use when I do my foundation, just because I've tried so many like real brands and I can't. None of them match my skin tone. I don't know how difficult it is for some of you ladies out there, but if you're mixed, you are never going to find it. So what I typically do is I just blend this foundation in all over, and I'm very careful around that wing that I just did. I blend it up all the way into my eye. This is typically my summer shade because I get really dark in the summer. I will lighten up toward the fall/winter. Typically for my makeup videos, I'm going to be wearing heavier set foundation. There are some days where I don't wear as much. Typically like full coverage, just because some people really like freckles. I'm not really a fan, if I'm being honest. For those of you who don't apply your foundation onto your neck, you need to start doing that, because it will literally start to look like you are wearing a mask. If you're not really experienced with makeup, one suggestion that I have, for those of you who don't buy high-end makeup but you still want coverage throughout the day, whatever, when you are trying out foundations and stuff like that, never test it on the back of your hand, because as you can see, the back of my hand is nowhere really near the exact color of my face. When you're testing your foundations, whether it be in like a drugstore or in Sephora, Ulta, whatever, always apply onto your neck, because this is when it's going to be easiest to tell if it's going to match your face. And sometimes, if necessary, apply onto the ears. So then I'm going to go in with this concealer by Urban Decay. It's called Naked Skin, and I'm in the color Medium Dark Warm. And I'm going to take this and apply it in a triangle. underneath my eye. One thing that I have noticed with this concealer, I do love it. I think it blends really easily. The only thing that I would say I'm not exactly a fan of is just the fact that if you leave it on your skin too long, like if I were to make the triangle on my other side and then come back and do this one, I find that it dries really quickly, which can be a little annoying just because then you get that really splotchy look. And for those of you who are new to makeup, you do not need to have all these brushes like a beauty blender, stuff like that. For some of you, your fingers work better. For me, just because I have nails all the time, I really don't like to use my fingers because it'll get in underneath all of my nails and it's really annoying. A little bit underneath the nose as well as onto the chin. And I typically don't apply more concealer onto these areas just because it'll become overbearing. So I just use whatever is left on my beauty blender. Well, this is Real Techniques, but it works the same. I've had beauty blenders and then I just decided to try out the Real Techniques one because I think it's cheaper, but it literally works the same. There is no difference. And the reason why I'm concealing like this is because it's going to highlight these areas in my face. When my face is highlighted, it brightens up my eyes automatically, which I really, really like. And then take the leftover and go down my nose. And I typically go over my lips with my beauty blender just because I think the color pops better. It's kind of like if you do a white base to your nail polish before doing a very bright color, it brings out that color that much more. I feel like personally it does the same to my lips when it all blends into the face and then it can go on lighter. So now typically what I'll do is I will go in with my NYX palette. It's a Highlight and Contour Pro palette and I got this for like $19 at Ulta. And I'm going to take this banana kind of shade and I'm going to set my face on my concealer, and I'm really going to heavily bake kind of underneath my eyes just because I don't want it to crease up during the day. So I'm going to take this little fluffy brush. So sometimes when you bake or when you see other people on YouTube doing this, they'll use like the Ben Nye banana powder, which I think is great, but I think it's kind of overrated at the same time, if I'm being perfectly honest, just because it doesn't work for everybody's skin tones. Because banana yellows are really good on, like, you know, people that are more tan or, you know, have a darker pigment. But something about that yellow just makes me turn gray. And like I said before, this would be the perfect time for those of you who like to do your eyeshadow after your foundation routine to do your eyeshadow, just because this is down here and will prevent a lot of that fallout. The step that I missed previous was whenever I do my brows, I typically like to do a gel on them just to kind of keep them in place. So I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, and I just lightly apply in the front because you want it to be kind of faded in the front or else it looks super duper fake. I'm not saying that my eyebrows look really real right now, but some people really like them natural, some really like it drawn on, and I typically like mine to be drawn on. Man, I need to tweeze my brows. Holy cow. Okay, so I'm going to go back in with this little brush right here. I'm going to lightly brush away what I was baking. And as you can tell, the longer that you keep it on, the longer it's going to stay looking like this. It really brightens up the underneaths of your eyes, which draws more attention to those lovely balls inside of your head. Balls inside of your head. So the last step that I'll go over is contouring. You can use a cream like contour if you would like. I typically am not a fan of those, or I haven't found one that I think works best for me, just because if you do a cream, you're going to want to blend it when your actual concealer is wet. If you do a powder like myself, you can do it after you're done setting all of this. I'm going to go in with this kind of orangey brown color down here. That's usually my go-to just because it's not too dark and it's not too light. So I'm going to go in with my other fluffy brush. It's the Flower F01 brush. It works pretty well. So I'm just going to go in and get a generous amount onto the tip of my brush and kind of pat it off. And then I'm going to go and kind of apply in a circular motion onto my cheek. And try not to bring it too much underneath the eyes just because you want that to stay very bright. Okay, so as you can tell, this side is much more tan versus this side is not. And then I'm just going to do the same to this side of my face. I'm going to go under the chin just to kind of blend into the neck area. I'm going to go on my forehead here. And be careful, you really want to blend out this forehead area just because since you were baking, you don't want this line of like white whatever. And if you do not like how bright it is under the eyes, you can just really quickly go underneath. And this is one of my favorite. This is my Sephora Pro Contour Precision number 79 brush. It comes with a little lid thing on it, and you can kind of just pop it off and take it out like that. I'm going to use that same kind of orangey brown color and carve out my cheeks just a little bit more. And then I'll also take just barely a little bit, and I'm going to go underneath my lip down here. It's going to give some depth. Don't put it where you had that concealer and where you baked it, but underneath the lip, it's going to make it look bigger and give that illusion like you got some Kylie Jenner lips. So what I'm going to do next is I kind of pinch the front of the brush like this. I don't know if you can see it. And I go back into that color, and then I try to snatch my nose. And for those of you who don't know what snatch the nose means, making that contour on your nose really thin out that bridge of your nose, because some of you guys maybe might be a little bit self-conscious about how big this part of your nose may be. This is an easier way to do it if you master it, of how to kind of thin that out without having to like go get surgery or like a nose job. But you typically want to go underneath because it'll shorten that part of your nose. If you're worried that your nose looks very long, you can take some underneath here and it will shorten that nose. It kind of like stops it where it is, and then just kind of bring this into the brow. This is a very harsh line. Typically I'll work for a really long period of time and kind of just like blend it out. That brush is fine to use to blend it out, but sometimes I go back in with my eyeshadow blending brush and I'll just barely go over it. I usually either use this brush or this beauty right here. This is one of my favorite brushes. This is the Pro Featherweight Fan Brush. It's number 92 from Sephora. Can we just take a minute to see how beautiful this brush is? I mean, like, I straight up bought this brush just because I thought it was like the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The Glow Kit. Everybody raves over this thing, and it's amazing. And then whenever I do get my ring light that I'm going to put behind my camera, I'll be able to better see, and you'll be able to better see how much highlight I'm putting on. I will take this kind of bronzy, sparkly, whatever brown color. It's my favorite one. As you can tell, it's really the only one that I've used. And I'm going to go right along this bone right here. I'm just going to lightly dust it. On this, you're not going to be able to really see how much I'm applying or how amazing that it looks. I wish that you could. So I kind of just bring it up. It kind of highlights that cheek to temple area. Some of you guys have seen that people will take it right on the edge of their lip. I don't know if you can see that. And some people like to put it on the tip of their nose and down their the bridge of their nose. However, I'm not really a fan of doing that just because I get really oily in my T-zone here. I typically find that if I do put highlight on the tip of my nose and up, that it makes me look that much more oily throughout the day. I might just put a little bit right there, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference just because I'm already a little bit oily. And then I will go in with my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil Crayon Liner in 604, which is the color Milk. And I always, always, always apply this into my waterline. For those of you who don't know, if you tight line your eyes with black liner, it's going to close off your eyelid. It's going to make your eyes look really, really small. When you do it with white, it's going to make your eyes look really, really big, very bright, very open. I don't know if you can tell already, but normally I can. It's going to open up my eyes. It makes it look that much more like awake. And I'm going to go in with my go-to mascara. It's CoverGirl Clump Crusher by Lash Blast in the green one. This is my favorite because the bristles are very, very thin. That way I can apply a generous amount without it clumping. If I was going out or if I had like an occasion that I was planning on attending, I would apply fake lashes, but right now I don't really see why that's necessary. And before I do my lower lashes with my mascara, I'm going to go back in with this palette right here, like how I said before, and I'm going to line out the bottom of my eyes. I'm just going to lightly line underneath. Kind of like give some depth to the eye as well. I don't bring it all the way in to the corner of my eye just because I typically like a lighter color in the corner. I'll go back in with my Naked palette and go back in with that Half-Baked color. And I'm going to pick up some of that Half-Baked and I'm going to go in the corner of my eye and bring it to meet that color and kind of blend it in the middle. And then I'm going to finish applying my mascara. Okay. I just grabbed my chapstick that I normally use before I go to bed, and it's kind of like my savior. It's the Baby Lips Dr. Rescue. It smells like mint, so that's really nice. I typically don't like my chapsticks to be very colored when I put them on, so that's why I really like this one, because it's clear. These are typically my two go-to colors. I did use a little bit of red in there, reddish brown, so that's why I kind of like these two. So what I typically do is I take this darker color, number 2. You can get that at Ulta. And I'll just take it. I will go in with my NYX Prune Colored Lip Liner. This is my go-to. I really like this color for when I'm doing those dark purples. I can't find my lip. Ah, where's my sharpener? Don't worry, I got it. Don't worry, I got it. I got it. All is right with the world. So it's kind of like a really nice, I don't know if you can see it. It's a really nice pinky prune color. And I'm kind of lining a little bit outside where my actual lip line is. Now that this and this are on my lips, I'm going to take this lighter color of the NYX Lingerie, which is number 8. You can also get this at Ulta. And I'm just going to take this color. I'm going to go on the inner portion of my mouth. And I like this because it kind of gives me like that ombre lip effect and it's not too harsh. This is also a super great way, like if you have really thin lips, line it dark, do the outer corners dark, and then lighten up that midsection of your lips and it's just going to look amazing. One thing that I also do when I am done applying my lip, because your lip liner can get a little crazy, I'm going to go back in with my Naked concealer and I'm going to line out the edges so that it looks very, very clean. Now that that is done, I'm going to go in and I'm going to set my face with this brand new, it's called Mario Badescu Skincare. And it's a facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rose water. So it's very nice, smells amazing. You can go into Anthropologie and you can get this sucker for $7, which is a steal deal, okay? Because I know a lot of the people that I follow on YouTube, they also use this kind of stuff. It's great. You kind of just lightly mist it on your face. And I might come back in a couple hours and let you know how this worked, because this is the first time that I've used this. Okay. So we're going to see how that lasts throughout the day. I'm going to go and do my hair really quickly, and then I'll be back to kind of do that last finished look type thing. So I will see you guys here in a little bit. Okay, I am back. My hair is done, and I look a little... And I look a little bit more put together now. This is typically how I'll wear my hair during the day. It's usually just the same every single day. But let's just get a close-up on this makeup. Okay, so I'm going to be back in a couple hours, hopefully, in order to show you guys how this makeup held out during the day, as well as this rose water that I was using while I was doing my tutorial. I'm hoping that it will give me the lasting makeup that I'm hoping for. Thanks for staying tuned. I know that it's kind of hard to get through some of these videos because they're much longer. However, I'm really thankful that you guys were able to watch this, and thanks for watching me do my morning makeup routine, and I will hopefully be back in a couple hours. Hey everybody, so I'm back and I just wanted to give you a couple hour update. As you can tell, when I did my makeup this morning, it was around 6:40-ish. So far the makeup is holding really well intact. I'm actually very surprised, especially with the rose water that I did use before. I think that the Eyeshadow also looks really good. I think that my skin doesn't appear as oily or doesn't feel as cakey as it normally would. So I'm really happy about that. So far so good. I'm really loving the look. The lipstick is staying fairly intact. I kind of ate, but other than that, I'm really pleased with the way that it looks. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure that you're commenting and subscribing below. And I'm really happy that you guys enjoyed this video tutorial. There will be more to come. Hopefully you guys will keep up with me and go ahead and send me requests for stuff that you want to see next. It really helps me out to know how to tailor my channel to you guys, so just let me know. And thanks so much again, you guys. Bye.